Mamata Banerjee's nephew Abhishek Banerjee rejects an enforcement directorate summons, says the probe agency is preventing him from campaigning in the panchayat elections and that he is being tortured. Is he just trying to dodge the law enforcement agency? Is this actually torture? Or is the agency only following procedure which Mr. Banerjee needs to comply with? That's my top focus on the NewsTrack.
The next Bengal war is brewing. Khela hobe in big panchayat polls. Massive litmus test before 2024. Poll will prove who is most war ready. Brace for fresh fierce battle for Bengal. The big focus on NewsTrack.
There's a furious political face-off brewing yet again between the BJP and the Trinamool in West Bengal. We'll dive straight into it. Meanwhile, here are the headlines I'm tracking tonight. Maha fight over Aurangzeb escalates after poster war and riots. Asuddin Owaisi calls the Maha Sarkar Godse ki aulad. Sharad Pawar and Sanjay Raut get death threats. Dr. Jaishankar slams Rahul Gandhi's foreign raga, says criticizing India abroad and seeking intervention is a cause of concern and can have serious implications for the country.
What is the bigger problem is when you take it out and then you invite people from out. Say, please come and, actually take part and interfere in what is happening out here. So our invitation be there. That I don't think is good for the country.
International wrestling referee says he saw a female athlete push away Braj Bhushan Charan as she got uncomfortable. Delhi police recreate crime scene at the WFI boss's Delhi office. Now textbook war ignites over Hegdewar in Karnataka. Congress government to remove chapters on the RSS founder from school books. Donald Trump indicted for the second time. This time in the classified documents case, the former US president accuses the Biden administration of a witch hunt. The Trinamool Congress is on the warpath against central agencies again. Mamata Banerjee's nephew and senior party leader Abhishek Banerjee, who's facing the heat in connection with the coal and school job scam, has declared he will defy enforcement directorate summons. This fight comes at the backdrop of impending panchayat polls. The Trinamool claims the summons to Abhishek Banerjee are a ploy to keep him away from campaigning. Here's the latest in the big Bengal showdown.
A test of popularity at the grassroots level. West Bengal is set for an electoral warm-up before next year's big Lok Sabha vote. The TMC ruled state goes to panchayat polls on July 8th. Zila parishads and Gram Panchayats. 63,283 constituencies spread across the state vote in a single round on July 8th. Results are scheduled for July 11th. In 2018, TMC delivered a thumping victory in the violence-ridden rural polls. It pushed the BJP to distant second. The left and Congress reduced to irrelevance in all three tiers of the panchayat structure back then. It seems different this time, with the TMC under massive opposition attack over allegations of corruption and arrest of several senior leaders. The opposition parties, the BJP and the Left Congress alliance seem prepared to fight it out with renewed vigor. Fireworks have begun. The BJP has sought deployment of central forces, fearing violence in the upcoming elections.
बंगाल में हर चुनाव में कुछ ना कुछ संतरास होता है, हिंसा होता है। पंचायत पौरसभा में ज़्यादा होता है लोकल बॉडी में, इसलिए बार बार हम सेंट्रल फोर्स का डिमांड करते हैं।
On its part, Congress complains panchayat elections have been announced on a short notice, with a short window for nomination filing.
लगभग 73,000 के आसपास उम्मीदवार चुनाव में हिस्सा लेना चाहते हैं। समय दिए गए 9 तारीख से 15 तारीख, 8 दिन के अंदर एक दिन छुट्टी के भी है। ये कौन सा गणित के सहारे में ये लोग एक समय तय किए हैं, जिस समय के दरमियान मान लीजिए कि 73,000 उम्मीदवारों ने अपना नामांकन भर पाएंगे।
The opposition has moved court, seeking central security during the vote and raising its objections over carrying out the elections in a single phase. In response, the Calcutta High Court has observed that the State Election Commission should consider vote dates and that adequate time should be given for filing nominations. The state government and election authorities should also discuss deploying central forces. The TMC has put on a bold face. The ruling party insists that the High Court should issue an observation and not an order.
ऐसे ज़रूरी नहीं है कि ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग करना है इलेक्शन डेट अनाउंस करने के पहले। स्टेट इलेक्शन कमिश्नर का पूरा पावर है, वो पावर के अनुसार इलेक्शन डेट अनाउंस किया, हमको मानने पड़ेगा।
The litmus test begins on West Bengal's rural battleground before the Lok Sabha vote due next year. Bureau Report, India Today.
Mamata Banerjee's nephew Abhishek Banerjee refusing to appear before the Enforcement Directorate. He says he has absolutely no time to waste before the big panchayat elections next month in West Bengal. He says the agencies are torturing him. Is it correct for the senior Trinamool leader to be defying the Enforcement Directorate summon? Is this indeed a case of torture, or should Mr. Banerjee really be following procedure because he's been summoned by an Indian investigative agency? To talk about this and more, and to talk about the big build-up to the next panchayat elections in West Bengal, because remember, in the assembly elections in West Bengal, the Trinamool won handsomely, and this panchayat election will be important because it will give us a sense of who stands where at this moment in West Bengal. Joining us for perspective on this broadcast, I want to welcome our guests on the show. With us at this time, representing the Trinamool Congress, is Riju Datta. Priyanka Tibrewal is a spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Shikha Mukherjee is a columnist and senior journalist. Jayanto Ghoshal is a consulting editor with the India Today group. So welcome to all our guests. I want to give our viewers a sense of where things stand at this moment, so you get a sense of the starting point. There are 48,649 gram panchayats where elections will be fought, and this election happens early next month. And let me give you a sense of where things stand at this moment. So if you see, according to the 2018 gram panchayat data, the Trinamool Congress had won 78% of the total votes. The BJP had picked up only 12% of the total votes. The Trinamool had 38,118 gram panchayat wards. The BJP had only 5,779. The CPI 33, the CPM 1,400. Very small numbers these. I just want to give you a sense of how the Assembly, the Lok Sabha and the Gram Panchayat numbers really compare. So we look at the total numbers that each party got. Remember, in the Lok Sabha elections between the BJP and the Trinamool, there was a reasonably tight fight. The Trinamool had 22 MPs in the 2019 Lok Sabha election. The BJP had 18. And the Congress had 2. So that's the seat share for West Bengal across 3 elections, where in the Lok Sabha elections, there was a tighter fight between the BJP and the Trinamool. What we'll find out next month is where things stand at this moment. Will it again be a tight fight? Will it be a close contest? Or will it be Trinamool all the way? That is what is at stake. And Abhishek Banerjee is telling the Enforcement Directorate, he's telling the country at large, I am being called at this moment. He's been called on the 13th of June. His wife Rujira was questioned for 3.5 hours. Soon after, Abhishek got a summon as well. He says he's being tortured and that he's being prevented from going out and campaigning. And remember, at this moment, Abhishek Banerjee is doing a very big yatra, and therefore as this yatra goes on, he thinks he's being stopped from doing that yatra, and that's the reason why he's being called. This is the Trinamool Nabo Jowar campaign which Abhishek Banerjee is undertaking at this moment. So let me go across first and foremost to Riju Datta as he tries to explain to our viewers why Abhishek Banerjee has decided that he will not be appearing before the Enforcement Directorate. He seems to be daring the investigative agency.
Rahul, first of all, good evening to all your viewers on the panel. Let me start off by giving you an analogy. You know, when back in the day when we were kids, I was quite fond of a comic book called Asterix and Obelix. And it depicted the story of a small village of Gaul, which couldn't be captured by the great Roman Empire and the great Roman King Julius Caesar himself. Now, fast forward to 2020-23, you will see the same thing happening. Whereas the king with his entire armada of EDA, CBI, NIA, IT, trying to capture a small state of Bengal, but unfortunately failing time and time again. See, this is what is happening. Abhishek Banerjee and Mamta Banerjee, for the last 4-5 elections, has defeated the world's largest party, and not just defeated, thrashed them out of the park. Abhishek Banerjee has clearly stated in front of the press that I have cooperated with all my, all the investigations, and if called, I will go again and again. And if you have one shred of evidence, you don't need to arrest me also. You bring it in front of the media, I will go and hang myself in the public view. Why is the CBI and ED not being able to do that? Question number one. Question number two. There is a new campaign called Trinamool and Nabo Jowar, which has coincidentally completed 4,000 kilometers today. And because of that, the collective opposition in Bengal, their BP levels, their sugar levels have all spiked. And as a result, they are trying every trick under the sun to, stop this campaign by calling Abhishek Banerjee. So he has categorically said, look, my panchayat polls are ending on 8th. You call me on 9th, I will go. You call me on 10th, I will go. You call me on 11th, I will go. Before that, I do not have the time to waste 10, 12 hours because the net result is 0 because you have done that before. Point number 3, the panchayat polls that has been announced, there is almost totally, if you include the samiti and everything, around 70,000 seats that will go to the poll, 70,000. So out of those 70,000, the collective opposition in Bengal, and I'm saying categorically, do not even have 20,000 nominations.
Yeah, but a part of that is because of the fear of the Trinamool. Riju, I'll tell you what, one second, sir. In 2018, 34% of the total seats, the panchayat seats which went for polls, went uncontested. Those seats, right. So much was the fear of the Trinamool on the ground that your opponents did not even dare put up a candidate against you. So while you're making the point, you are also remember that this has been a persistent reality. 20,076 total panchayat seats went uncontested to the Trinamool.
Okay, see, this time round, time and time again, not the opposition but the ruling disposition, because law and order is a state subject. We have said that we want an absolute peaceful panchayat vote, even if that means losing a few seats. My question is, the opposition has gone...
Who was talking about peace?
Priyanka, I haven't come to you yet. You will wait for a moment till I come to you. Do not derail this conversation. That's not my style.
Thank you. The opposition has gone to the Honorable High Court. They have gone with a list of demands. I will accept and I will be very happy if the Honorable High Court says that the nomination filing should be online. You know what will happen then, Rahul? Then the collective opposition or a part of the media cannot say that Trinamool Congress has stopped them from filing nomination. I am saying, file nomination. I will go even one step ahead and say, if any opposition party candidate says that we are not being able to file nomination, contact the Trinamool Congress. Because we have also launched a new app which is Sorasori Mukhyamantri, which means there's a number you can contact the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee
So,
directly.
Priyanka,
You call us,
I'm
we
going to
will
come
file
back to you in a
nominations
moment.
on your behalf.
Priyanka Tibrewal, here's what Abhishek Banerjee is saying. That polls get over on the 8th of July, 9th, 10th, 11th, call me. At this moment, I simply have no time to mix. His charge really is that he's been undergoing this Trinamool Nabo Jawar campaign, which he claims is what is rattling the state BJP, which is why you want him to move away from this campaign and present himself before the Enforcement Directorate. He's saying the ED and the CBI are the double engine of the BJP government.
Not at all. This is vice versa. It is Abhishek Banerjee and the Trinamool government who is scared because, see, on the completion of 9 years of Modi government, there are various public meetings which are being held at the block levels. And we are going and holding those meetings are being held. And there they are now very, very horrified because the kind of crowd which is emerging. So they want to first of all stop this program. And secondly, Abhishek Banerjee is trying to purchase time. You see, panchayat elections were not the need of the hour for them for so long. But now, just because he is being called, his wife is being called, the family members are being called, and not to have tea and breakfast with the ED or the CBI, because there is a company called Leaps and Bounds where they were found directors, where there was this coal smuggling money trail which they have found out, and that's the reason they are being questioned. So in order to purchase time now, all of a sudden, they announced panchayat election, that also without any party meeting or consulting any other party or without doing any kind of party
No, this
meeting.
is something that Shubhendu Adhikari is making a big deal of, Riju. That an all-party meeting wasn't held, that this is a unilateral call by the Trinamool. Usually, there is a conversation with opposition parties before the election is announced. They're saying, you are trying to do this because you are trying to deflect attention and trying to turn the Enforcement Directorate summons the cases against Abhishek Banerjee into a political weapon.
Rahul, there's a saying, Naach na jane angan teda. My question is this. First of all, it's not mandatory to have an all-party meeting, but the election commissioner said that I will have an all-party meeting in due course of time. Point number one. Point number two, it is a fact, and you can check your records, your library is very strong, that Shubhendu Adhikari once went to High Court a few months back to delay the panchayat elections. Now, when the panchayat elections are announced, now he is again going there demanding central forces and all that nonsense. Now, my third question is, in every state of India where panchayat elections are being held, central forces are not required. Here they need central forces, but have they forgotten what is the outcome of 2021 Lok Sabha elections when the central forces were there? So bottom line is, Rahul, these are all
okay.
cheap
So
tricks and
respond to
gimmicks
this, Priyanka Tibrewal. The charge that the BJP is in a political organizational shambles. Many of the Trinamool leaders have returned to the Trinamool. Many of the cadre have returned to the Trinamool. You aren't as strong as you were in 2021, which is why you don't want this election.
Sir, like he said, that panchayat elections are the need of the hour, very urgent. I'd like to remind my friend that there are many other municipal corporations where elections have not taken place from the last 10 years, 15 years. Why? Because their ministers are sitting as chairmen and they are earning money. So they don't require to contest any elections over there. But panchayat was very much required at the moment. Nobody has forgotten what happened in 2018, the kind of killing which took place in West Bengal. And my friend Riju Datta, he was talking about forgetting something. I think that the entire nation has not forgotten the 2021 elections which took place in West Bengal and the kind of violence which took place here. They were pulled by the High Court, they were pulled by the Supreme Court, by the NHRC. That is the reason so many investigations are going on here. People were murdered, brutally murdered. Not allowed to file nominations. Said that their family, their women,
we're hearing from the political parties. I want to go across to Munish Pandey, who covers the Enforcement Directorate for us. He's been speaking to senior officials who are on this case. Munish, how confident are these ED officers about the kind of case they've been able to build against Abhishek Banerjee, against his wife Rujira? And remember, there are two primary matters that are being looked at in different ways. One, of course, is the coal scam. The other is the school scam. And in both these cases, they're trying to build a case. There's a school job scam and the coal pilferage scam. Where has the investigation reached? And from the ED's perspective, how important is it for Abhishek to appear?
Well, Rahul, first I'll talk about the coal scam. As far as Abhishek Banerjee is concerned, his role is being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate and he has been questioned on several occasions by the agency. But as far as the evidence against Abhishek Banerjee is concerned, the Enforcement Directorate claims that they have details of certain transactions. The ill-gotten money traveled from the mediators, from certain policemen to top politicians in West Bengal, and that is why they want to question Abhishek Banerjee. Apart from Abhishek Banerjee, his wife Rujira Banerjee is also under scanner of the Enforcement Directorate, and what ED believes and what they claim that there were two companies linked to Abhishek Banerjee's family through which Rujira Banerjee got over 50 lakh rupees. And that money traveled from India to outside country. They have the bank account details, and that is why Rujira Banerjee was also recently questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. So far, the question you asked, as far as Abhishek Banerjee is concerned, in the poll scam case, the ED claimed that they have concrete evidence against Abhishek Banerjee. There is a legal battle which is going on between Abhishek Banerjee, Rujira Banerjee and the Enforcement Directorate. But at this point of time, there is no relief to Abhishek Banerjee or Rujira Banerjee from the Enforcement Directorate case as far as poll scam is concerned. Now, as far as the second scam is concerned, that is the recruitment scam, the teachers' recruitment scam, ED claims that their investigation is at a primary stage. At this point of time, they have certain links, certain evidence joining that chain to Abhishek Banerjee, and that is why he was called in for questioning. Now, as far as Abhishek Banerjee not going to the Enforcement Directorate is concerned, legally he is allowed to not go before the Enforcement Directorate on some ground, but he has to reply to the Enforcement Directorate, because remember, if he skips more than 3 summons, then ED will be within their rights to even arrest Abhishek Banerjee in this case.
Okay, thanks Munish for joining us. I want to go across to our two political analysts, Jayanto Ghoshal and Shikha Mukherjee. And before that, I want to show our viewers just where the last panchayat election stood. And what I've done is I've done a cross tab looking at the Lok Sabha and the assembly data numbers. This is vote share. So you'll get a sense of how tight the battle really was. So in 2019, the Trinamool had 43% of the vote share in West Bengal. The BJP had 41%. So the gap was only 2%. In the assembly elections that followed in 2021, the Trinamool's vote share was 48. The BJP's vote share was 38. So there's a 10% gap. But cut to the panchayat elections. Remember, on the 8th of July, West Bengal will see panchayat elections, and you'll hear a lot more about it as this build-up happens. The gap in the vote share of the panchayat elections is 78 versus 12. So that's a massive gap of 66, between the one and the two party. And therefore, the question now, Jayanto Ghoshal, is what, according to you, is the state of play in West Bengal? So you've got the ED summons being dodged by Abhishek Banerjee. That's a political matter. But on the ground, you travel across the state. What's the sense that you're picking up? Are we looking at an assembly election-like scenario? Are we looking at a Lok Sabha-like scenario? Or are we going to see something similar to the last panchayat elections? Because typically, the state government which is in power tends to have the advantage in local body elections. Jayanto.
Rahul, thank you very much. Rahul, at the outset, I will say that there is an anti-incumbency against TMC regime also. It's a law of nature. Because after 10 years, you cannot compare. Similar in the national level also, always there is a law of nature, the anti-incumbency comes. Here, in the districts, in the villages, the local TMC, the behavioral pattern of the samitis, and Abhishek Banerjee also pointed out several lacunas in that system publicly in different rallies to rectify those fault lines. So I have to say that there is a anti-incumbency. You cannot compare with the 10 years back what was the situation or 5 years back what was the situation. So there is a increasing discontent among the mass of the Bengal. But the opposition, now the delay of, the expectation on the panchayat election, the massive campaign was there that Mamata will not hold the assembly panchayat election. And sudden announcement of the
Why has it been announced suddenly? why is the poll been announced suddenly?
No, I'm telling you, because for the last 1 month, the file was with the governor on the chief election commission, chief electoral officer of the state election commission, and there are 3 letters governor saying to the state government that you have to give some other names. We will not accept the name of the Rajiva Sinha because BJP and the other opposition parties were accusing that this man will create terror and we cannot hold a free and fair election. But governor eventually he followed the constitutional procedure because the state electoral officer will be recruited by the state government, as state government said. But now it is they went to the court also on this issue. But in this situation, CPM and the opposition parties, they didn't buy the time for the nomination preparation. They are not ready actually. They could not expect the sudden. And now they are saying that
is the BJP ready according to you or not? Because the BJP has also been facing a lot of infighting.
No. BJP ideologically and BJP, they are strategically, they are, I think, more than Congress and the left. BJP is ahead on the question of the public, getting the public opinion. But in the organizational capability and the selection of the candidates in the different districts, you can blame that for the terror, we cannot give the candidate. But the reality is that the most of the, because the winnability is with the TMC, that is the myth. And the most, it happens in the Uttar Pradesh also. Nobody wants to be a candidate of Samajwadi Party. They want to be a candidate of BJP. In the same way, in West Bengal, most of the candidates who want to be a candidate in the panchayat is a 3-tier system. So in the lower level, everybody wants to be TMC, and that's why the massive jhagda, the massive infighting is the TMC to get the nomination.
Okay, so you've said some very interesting and important things. One, that there is anti-incumbency at the local level. The Trinamool leadership at the highest levels is aware of it. B, the opposition wasn't prepared for these elections because they didn't think they'd be announced so soon, and that there will be a challenge for the opposition to fight good candidates who can take on the Trinamool. And despite the anti-incumbency, when at the starting point, remember, all elections are essentially, from a perspective of data and psephology, the same. If at the starting level, the gap between the winner and the runner-up is 66%, even if the gap comes down, the end result is likely to change very much. That's just what electoral arithmetic says. Shikha Mukherjee, I heard from Jayanto Ghoshal, your sense of the state of play ahead of the big, brutal, bloody election for these Gram Panchayats next month?
I think the violence has already started. The violence started today. And the violence is I think, something which everybody says why, but it just happens to be the character of politics in West Bengal. Having said that, will the Trinamool do better? Is the BJP organized? Is the Congress organized? Incidentally, Jayanto, the CPM has welcomed the announcement of the election. The other 2 parties are the ones that are creating the noise. Having said that, let's look at the facts on the ground. One, the BJP between 2021 and now has had a series of defections, important defections in the state. The Congress has just lost the one MLA that was elected just a few weeks ago. The BJP's organizational weakness is something that the BJP, no matter what it says publicly, privately, they will tell you that there are problems with the party. On the other hand, the Trinamool certainly, as Jayanta says, has an anti-incumbency issue. The teachers' recruitment scam and I think far more important than the teachers' recruitment scam is the visual of mountains of cash being unearthed by the ED. That has certainly jolted even the hardcore, fervent Trinamool supporter. And that's not just anti-incumbency, that is just the visual...
Do you think they'll switch? Given the fact that so much cash was found from the houses of senior Trinamool leaders, will a part of that 78% of the vote which went for the Trinamool in the last assembly elections now switch?
You know, Rahul, that is the million-dollar question, and why? Because we have to realize that all panchayats have a percentage of seats which are reserved for women. 50% seats are reserved for women. With reservation for women and Mamta Banerjee's incredible popularity and appeal, sort of buoyed by the fact that she has launched this Lakshmi Bhandar, which is a model which seems to have been adopted in other states, by other states as well, where, you know, the state gives a direct cash transfer to women every month. That has made the women's vote a near certainty for Mamta Banerjee.
Let Priyanka Tibrewal respond. The fact that there's a 66% vote share advantage in favor of the Trinamool at the starting point, the fact that she's got these welfare schemes which seem to be rousing women supporters in her way, and the fact that there have been defections from the Trinamool back to the Trinamool, defections in the BJP back to the Trinamool, all of this taken together would suggest that it is a tough fight, which is partly why Abhishek Banerjee thinks he's being pulled away from the campaign so that his mind is not on the panchayat elections, but on having to respond to the ED and the CBI. Priyanka.
Not at all, Rahul. I don't agree with Ms. Mukherjee that a 500 rupee to the women of Bengal will, transfer her vote towards TMC. Not at all. If only money could buy votes, then in that way, BJP is giving this.
Madam, it doesn't need to get transferred. It's already sitting with the. It's already sitting with the Trinamool. It needs to get transferred away from the Trinamool to you. It doesn't need to get transferred to. They're already sitting on 78% of the vote.
No. So that's okay. That's what I'm saying. That what is happening to the women here on the ground, whatever is the ground reality, that we know and that we are seeing every day. That women are being raped just because their family member choose to go to some other party and hold the flag of some other party. They are being molested. Not just that, their husbands and their family members are being killed. So this is what happened in reality. Now, you were talking of violence. Only yesterday, violence has started in West Bengal. So this is what people are viewing each and every day. Now, the percentage which you were showing, Rahul, that, so many people voted for TMC, that is not the real percentage. Voting here in the panchayat take places on ballot. They take away the ballot boxes. This is what they have decided this time. Abhishek Banerjee has given instructions on this. That, allow people to do nominations, file nominations. We'll see them on the day of counting. We will not allow them to be present in the counting hall. Now, this is the way how elections take place in West Bengal.
Okay, I just want to walk across and show you what we did as an interesting calculation. We just converted to be able to compare the panchayat elections, the assembly elections and the Lok Sabha elections. I just converted it into a percentage. So you get a sense of how close the fight was. This is in terms of seat share. And when you compare the three data sets, you realize that the panchayat elections, 82% of all seats on offer in the panchayat elections were won by the Trinamool. The BJP had only 12% of the seats on offer. In the Lok Sabha elections, the BJP had 43% of the seats on offer. The Trinamool had 52%. So that's where the gap gets narrowed. It's only 9%. However, in the assembly elections of 2021, which is the big Trinamool victory, the Trinamool had 73% of the total seats on offer. The BJP had only 26%. So that really is the gap. But Riju, the wads of cash, literally mountains of them caught in the house of Trinamool leaders, all of this, including what Jayanto is saying, would really suggest that there is very serious anti-incumbency, a 10-year-old government, serious anti-incumbency. So it's not all hunky-dory for the Trinamool. You have a real challenge in the next month.
Rahul, let's be real for some time, and if Trinamool Congress has a zero tolerance policy for any sort of corruption, but in every party there are some people that do all this nonsense and they end up going behind bars and maligning the party. But if corruption would have been a cause to change the way an election goes, then Hemanta Biswa Sharma wouldn't have been the Chief Minister of Assam, neither Shivraj Singh Chauhan would have been the Chief Minister of MP. So I don't think only scams, change the fate of an election. But let me come to the real facts. Why Trinamool is going to win the Panchayat, they're going to win the Lok Sabha in Bengal, and they're going to win the upcoming Vidhan Sabha in 2026. Point number one, there is no alternative to Mamata Banerjee. Point number two, the opposition, the collective opposition, do not have a narrative for the betterment of Bengal. Their politics only involves abusing Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee. And they are confined in that. They do not have an alternative that how if Trinamool doesn't come in power, how they will benefit the people of Bengal. So that's point number two. Point number three is that Abhishek Banerjee has taken the reins of the party now. He has gone on the ground, he has met the people. The people, some of them were angry because of the anti-incumbency. But now they have got their leader within a foot. And
okay, let me put that question to Jayant Ghoshal, the Trinamool leader, claiming he's a young gun from the Trinamool, so naturally he'll be enthused by Abhishek Banerjee. But you've seen many generations of leaders in West Bengal. To what extent has Abhishek at this moment been able to fill in, I can't say legacy or the shoes of Mamata Banerjee, but how does his popularity compare with that of Mamata Banerjee within and without the Trinamool?
Mamata Banerjee still, she is the most popular leader of the state.
Of course.
Across the districts. And Abhishek Banerjee still, he is respectable number 2 of the Trinamool Congress. And he is gaining ground. 5 years back, the influence of Abhishek Banerjee, not in the organizational internal, I am talking about influence of the mass. Now he is consciously trying to follow Mamata Banerjee's side also, to connect with the people, having a cup of tea with the villagers. But you know what Mamata Banerjee experienced, that is the anti-CPM movement, the atrocity of CPM against Mamata Banerjee. That experience Abhishek doesn't have. But Abhishek and Mamata is a good combination because Abhishek is facing the modern political crisis. Mamata Banerjee never faced CBI enforcement when she was fighting CPM. But now it's a major CBI and enforcement has become a major obstacle. Each and every day, Subhendu Adhikari issues statement against Abhishek Banerjee and this on the corruption issue. You know, Priyanka is a very forceful and a very successful spokesperson. They are raising the issue. Why? CBI enforcement is doing what the law will take its own course line. But what Priyanka and the BJP, that is their job. They have to do it. They are trying to give the message to the mass that don't accept Abhishek because he is a growing icon and it's a silent transition. And now it is not silent also. Everybody knows that after Mamata is Abhishek. So BJP, it's a next assembly election, part of the battle will be between Subhendu and Abhishek. So Abhishek,
how does that stack up in your view? Remember, this is the first election where it's Abhishek Banerjee who's more on the ground. Of course, Mamata Banerjee will have an important role to play in the campaign, but this is where he's doing his big yatra, he's leading the party, and the battle royale, young Subhendu, young Abhishek Banerjee versus Subhendu, who thought he should have been there as number 2 rather than Abhishek Banerjee, and Abhishek Banerjee is the reason that he actually left the Trinamool to go to the BJP, or amongst the reasons, because he thought he had no future, he'd reached a glass ceiling. How does that battle shape up in your view, Shikha Mukherjee? Abhishek Banerjee versus Subhendu Adhikari?
Actually, it's not Abhishek Banerjee versus Subhendu Adhikari. It's Abhishek Banerjee plus Mamata Banerjee against Subhendu Adhikari. You know, that is not a good comparison. It's an unfair comparison to Subhendu.
You're saying it's an unfair comparison to Subhendu. I see Riju has his hand up. I'm running out of time, Riju Datta, so very quickly make your point and then I wrap up.
Yes, the difference between Abhishek Banerjee and Subhendu Adhikari and why Trinamool is going to win all the next 3 elections is because after the Panchayat was declared yesterday, Abhishek Banerjee in rain and thunderstorm is with the people of Bengal on the ground, whereas Shubhendu Adhikari is meeting Mr. Amit Shah in Delhi, exchanging flowers and niceties. So that shows who has the commitment towards people of
quick
Bengal.
response, quick counter before I conclude.
Rahul, Jyoti Basu and Buddhadev Bhattacharya once thought that they were irreplaceable, but you know, this is what happens when arrogance hits your head. And now that Mr. Riju Datta is thinking that Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek are irreplaceable, people will show them the mirror soon.
We'll find out. And as always, India Today first on the ball with the election. This will be an exciting contest. In fact, I'm biased. I find all elections exciting. But typically in West Bengal, not just is it a hard-fought election and a pitched battle, it also ends up very often being bloody, brutal and very violent. So we'll track every dimension of this election, what's happening on the ground, what's happening with the probes, what the agencies are doing, what the politicians are doing. I want to thank our guests for joining us on this broadcast. We'll keep tracking, and what we really try to do was give you a sense of how this battle really is shaping up. Coming up on the other side of a quick break, Donald Trump indicted for the second time. Can he still run for president in 2024? Details coming up on the other side.
Where the software engineer meets the smart market analyst, meets the talented photographer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University. So where are you?
The IMD declaring the onset of southwest monsoon in India as it finally reaches Kerala, although a week later than it normally does. The IMD has said the progress is likely to be slow for at least 1 week due to the severe cyclone developing in the Arabian Sea, which may further delay its penetration over the Indian mainland. India is expected to get normal rainfall during the southwest monsoon season despite the evolving El Nino conditions. Collections under the small savings scheme for senior citizens grew by 4 times in May as compared to last year, as per Finance Ministry officials. The fresh mop-up under this scheme was more than 15,000 crores in addition to the existing one. This is also because of a revision of maximum limit and rate of interest. My colleague Karishma Sudani brings us the story. Karishma, tell us, what has been the net collection? How will this impact the government's budget estimate?
Well, yes, the Ministry of Finance is happy about the collection under the senior citizen savings schemes for the month of May. In fact, my top sources tell me that the net collection has been close to rupees 24,000 crore, which is 4 times the collection in terms of year-on-year basis and about 85% up on a month-on-month basis. It was rupees 6,000 lakh crore that was collected in the month of May 2022 and close to about 13,000 that has been collected in the month of April, that is 13,000 lakh crore. So the total collection has been at 24 lakh crore and the mop-up in terms of new people joining it has also been good, and clearly this is also because of government's revision of the rate of interest from April 1st, 2023 and also increasing, in fact they put a double the limit in terms of investment into this scheme.
Mughal ruler Aurangzeb has become the big flashpoint in modern-day Maharashtra. After a poster war and riots that followed, a political war of words is now exploding. Asaduddin Owaisi and the Uddhav Sena are accusing the Shinde Sarkar of raking up Aurangzeb ahead of elections.
Political showdown erupts over Mughal ruler Aurangzeb in Maharashtra. 2 days after Hindu right-wing groups went on a rampage in Kolhapur against WhatsApp status hailing Aurangzeb, political parties in the state are accusing each other of inciting riots. The Bharatiya Janata Party has blamed what it calls the Tukde Tukde gang for inciting this vandalism, describing Aurangzeb as a tyrant who committed atrocities against Hindus.
वोट के खातिर कहीं छत्तीसगढ़ में धर्मांतरण, कोल्हापुर में बाबर के औलाद खड़े हो जाते हैं, औरंगजेब के औलाद खड़े हो जाते हैं, भारत के सनातनियों की अस्मिता के साथ खेलते हैं, तो मराठा के लोग तो विरोध करेंगे।
The AIMIM, which is blamed for holding the rally in Ahmednagar where these Aurangzeb posters were flaunted, has accused the BJP in return of orchestrating the riots allegedly in Kolhapur. Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, on the other hand, has called the rioters descendants of Aurangzeb.
सवाल ये उठता है कि अचानक इतने औरंगजेब के औलादे कहां से पैदा हुई, इसके पीछे कौन है, इसका असली मालिक कौन है, ये भी हम ढूंढ के निकालेंगे। कौन जानबूझकर महाराष्ट्र में कानून व्यवस्था खराब हो और महाराष्ट्र का नाम खराब हो, ये करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, ये भी हम ढूंढ के निकालेंगे।
ये कौन सी जबान है एक डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर की, जो चीफ मिनिस्टर था 5 साल के लिए, और जो उसके अतराफ के लोग बोलते हैं कि एक दिन वो प्रधानमंत्री भी बन सकता है, वो कह रहा औरंगजेब की औलाद। फिर गोडसे की औलाद कौन है, आप्टे की औलाद कौन है, मदन लाल पावा की औलाद कौन है?
The Shiv Sena Uddhav faction has accused Shinde government of using Aurangzeb as a political tool.
आपका कहना है कि हिंदुत्व खतरे में क्यों पड़ जाता है अगर कोई औरंगजेब का पोर्ट्रेट अगर सर पे
खतरे में नहीं है, उनको लगता है उनका हिंदुत्व बहुत कमजोर है।
तो फिर ऐसे एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट्स को कितनी रियायत दी जाए आपके हिसाब से सर?
ठोक देना चाहिए, जैसे यूपी में हो रहा है।
Amid this Aurangzeb face-off, Maharashtra opposition leaders are claiming they are receiving death threats. NCP MP Supriya Sule met Mumbai Police Commissioner to file a complaint. She said her father and party chief Sharad Pawar got threats over WhatsApp.
आदरणीय पवार साहब के नाम से आज मेरे व्हाट्सएप पे ये मैसेज आया है, उनको एक धमकी दी गई है, एक वेबसाइट से दी गई है, और वैसी ही धमकी और भी इस रिलेटेड जो अकाउंट्स है इस पे आई है। मेरी विनती रहेगी होम मिनिस्टर से, महाराष्ट्र के भी और देश के भी होम मिनिस्टर से, कि ऐसी जो हरकतें हो रही है ये गंदी घटिया राजनीति है और ये कहाँ भी रुकना चाहिए।
Sanjay Raut's brother, speaking to India Today, also alleged his brother is getting death threats for speaking out on the Aurangzeb issue.
4-4:30 बजे मुझे 3-4 कॉल आ गए
जी,
और उन्होंने उसमें बोला कि संजय राउत साहब उन्होंने फोन उठा नहीं रहे, डर गए। उनको बोलना ज्यादा आवाज करना मत, तुम्हारा सुबह का प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस बंद करो, भोंगा बंद कर दो, नहीं तो तुम्हें और दोनों भाइयों को जल्दी से जल्दी मैं स्मशान भूमि में पहुंचा दूंगा, दोनों को मैं जल्दी से जल्दी गोली से उड़ा दूंगा।
The Maharashtra police has registered 4 FIRs and arrested 36 people for stone pelting, vandalism and rioting in Kolhapur. Aurangzeb has become a political issue in a state that will be crucial for both the BJP and opposition in the upcoming 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, a war over Hegdewar is simmering in Karnataka. The new Congress Sarkar has decided to remove the chapters on the RSS founder from school textbooks. The party says Hegdewar was a coward, not a freedom fighter.
Tipu Sultan, Savarkar, and now Keshav Baliram Hegdewar. The debate over chapters on historic figures in school textbooks continues in Karnataka. And this time the tables have turned. If the erstwhile BJP government spoke of removing Tipu chapters, the current Congress government is pushing to remove the RSS founder Hedgewar's chapters from school textbooks. The Siddaramaiah government is so resolute on its stand that it won't even wait for the next academic year and will effect these changes immediately.
We have taken our decision very clearly that we are going to
take care of the issues which are not necessary in the textbooks from first standard to even 12th also, whatever it is, till 10th. Basically what it looks like they have changed in the interest of children. It is not saffronizing or non-saffronizing or against a party or anything.
And this decision has sparked it, as expected, an all-out Hindutva fight. The BJP's top Karnataka faces are now calling this decision an attempt to wipe out the RSS's role in the freedom movement.
By omitting the chapter on Hedgewar and the RSS, the Congress party also wants to hide the historical truth that when Indira Gandhi tried to impose emergency on this country and throttle democracy and impose dictatorship, it was RSS and RSS leaders who opposed the imposition of emergency and fought for democracy and the rights of the common citizen and the constitution in the country.
I think they would like the topic and the discourse to move away from the progress and the advancement that India has made and the progress that Indians are experiencing to issues of Mohabbat ki Dukaan and all the other Dukans that they are very familiar with.
But the Congress has combated this narrative by calling Hedgewar a coward, citing mercy letters that he allegedly wrote to the British.
ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯವರಾಗಲಿ ಸಂಘ ಪರಿವಾರದವರಾಗಲಿ ಹೆಡ್ಗೆವಾರ್ ಅವರು ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಹೋರಾಟಗಾರರಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರಿಗೆ ಕ್ಷಮಾಪಣೆ ಪತ್ರ 6 ಬಾರಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಅಂತ ಅವರು ಬಹಳ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರದೇ ಆದ ಗ್ರಂಥಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಚಿತ್ರಗುಪ್ತ ಅಂತ ಅವರೇ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದರಲ್ಲೂ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರಿಗೆ ಕ್ಷಮಾಪಣೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಂಥ ರಣಹಿಡಿಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಪಠ್ಯಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ.
Mr. Hariprasad or his party man, never ever they had concern for the country. They had that kind of nation serving commitment from many of these people. They don't have any moral or ethical rights to talk about Dr. Hedgewar. I totally condemn his attitude, his kind of statement, hatredness, vindictiveness. I totally condemn his statement.
The Siddaramaiah government's move to purge chapters from textbooks has kicked off a familiar political storm as the debate rages on over whether history, irrespective of the narrative, can be tweaked or omitted.
The Karnataka Congress government is all set to resolve the textbook row over glorifying RSS leaders, including Hedgewar. On the other side, the BJP has criticized Congress government on this vindictive politics. Amidst the politics over textbook, ultimate sufferers are the students. And many educationists feel that the education of students over the textbook row is getting jeopardized. With video journalist Shivmurthy Sagairas reporting for India Today, Bengaluru.
Former US President Donald Trump has been charged on 7 counts, including willfully retaining national defense secrets in violation of the Espionage Act, making false statements and obstructing justice. This is the first time in the history of the United States that a former president has faced federal charges.
President, would you take some questions?
Donald Trump is indicted once again, the second time in 2 months. First indicted in a hush money scam, the former US president this time is charged for retaining classified government documents. The indictment makes Trump the first ex-president ever to face federal criminal charges. The charges include willful retention of classified government documents, conspiracy to obstruct justice, withholding a document or record, corrupt concealing of a document, concealing a document in a federal investigation, a scheme to conceal, false statements and representations. Already facing several criminal investigations, the indictment of Trump in the classified document case is another setback for him, as he's trying to unseat President Joe Biden in next year's presidential elections. Trump is calling the indictment political vendetta.
I'm an innocent man. I did nothing wrong. And we will fight this out just like we've been fighting for 7 years. It would be wonderful if we could devote our full time to making America great again. And that's exactly what we did. But now, again, our country is in decline. We're a failing nation. And this is what they do. No collusion after 2.5 years that was set up by Hillary Clinton and Democrats. But this is what they do. This is what they do so well. If they would devote their energies to honesty and integrity, it would be a lot better for our country. They could do a lot better. They could do a lot of great things.
The former president was earlier charged with paying hush money to the pornography actress Stormy Daniels to keep their affair a secret. Trump is accused of making false records to show the payment as legal fees. The trial in this case is due March next year, right in the middle of the primary election season. The two indictments, however, will not keep Trump away from the presidential poll. Biden administration will try best to seek Trump's conviction. If found guilty, the maximum punishment for Trump in the federal case would be 100 years in prison. The indictment could hurt Trump's goal of returning to the White House for a second time. Bureau Report, India Today.
This is where I wrap up the NewsTrack tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.
All right, Chetan, thanks so much for joining us with all the latest on Elon Musk and Tesla. Now, sticking with the auto industry, Maruti Suzuki has rolled out its much-awaited SUV, the Jimny. It's at a price tag of 12.74 lakh rupees. The car will come in 6 variants, with the base model starting at 12.74 lakh, that's ex-showroom. The top-end Alpha AT dual-tone model at 15.05 lakh, ex-showroom. With this, Maruti is aiming for a 25% share of the SUV market in FY24, with volumes close to 475,000 units. The lifestyle SUV, which is pitted directly against the Mahindra Thar and Force Gurkha, will be retailed across all 600 Nexa stores in the country starting today. The man behind the AI revolution is here in India. OpenAI founder and CEO Sam Altman with India's G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant today in New Delhi. The discussions focused on the potential of generative AI and how emerging economies can leverage this to improve the quality of life of citizens. Altman's visit to India is significant as it comes at a time when the country is keenly looking at AI research and development.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode.
A bold experiment in women's empowerment. A self-help group led by the panchayat head of Dawa village in Bihar's Bhojpur district has set up a plant to manufacture sanitary napkins. They are not only providing sanitary pads at a low cost to women in rural areas, but also creating employment opportunities for women.
ये जो योजना है ये हम लोगों ने बेसिकली उस वक्त शुरू किया जब कोरोना का दौर चल रहा था, तो ये चीज़ समझा गया कि बाहर जो हमारे यहाँ से महिलाएं जा रही हैं उन लोगों को यहाँ रोका जाए और कुछ ना कुछ एक सोर्स ऑफ अर्निंग बनाई जाए। और हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा औरतों को सैनिटरी जो शब्द है उससे परिचित करवाएं और मेंस्ट्रुएशन साइकिल में जो हम सैनिटरी का यूज़ करते हैं उसकी उनको आदत डलवाएं।
The women go door to door selling sanitary napkins. They spread awareness among villagers about menstrual hygiene.
जो बच्ची किशोरियां हैं वो लेना नहीं जानती थी पहले, जिसे उनके माँ बाप यूज नहीं कराते थे उसको, क्योंकि महिलाओं को जानकारी नहीं था। तो इसलिए बच्ची बोलती है तो क्या है, जो आज के डेट में किशोरी बच्ची स्कूल पढ़ रही हैं, इसी की वजह से बाल किशोरी को पता चलता है कि ये पीरियड आने पर सबसे अच्छा महत्वपूर्ण सैनिटरी पैड है।
The unit in Dawa makes 4,000 to 5,000 sanitary pads a day. Their product, branded as Sangini, is available in markets in villages and towns in the district. Bureau Report, India Today.
Co-presented by Star Health Insurance, the health insurance specialist.
Co-presented by Kentaro, जो देता है सबसे शुद्ध पानी. Co-presented by JK Tyre Ranger Series, stay wild at heart.
Good evening, viewers. You're watching News Today at 9 p.m. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Every once in a way, India's medieval history comes knocking back. This time around, it's the state of Maharashtra. Just a few months ago, it was Karnataka. Before that, it was Banaras, Varanasi. Our talking points this evening: Aurangzeb politics in Maharashtra. Who gains politically from Aurangzeb? All of that coming up through the course of the next 45 minutes. Let me first take you through the headlines. After Fadnavis, Aurangzeb ki aulad jaib, Owaisi's Godse ki aulad attack on Fadnavis accuses BJP of defaming Islam in Maharashtra. Political war over Congress government's plan to revise Karnataka textbooks and remove Hedgewar chapters. BJP lashes out at Siddaramaiah government. Congress claims RSS founder wrote mercy letters to British. There's been a twist in Mumbai's murder case. Accused Manoj and victim Saraswati had gotten married in a temple. Sources suggest accused shows no remorse, not cooperating in the probe as well. 4 days after baseball player Sanjana died by suicide in Jabalpur, the police have arrested the accused Abdul. The police say he posed as a Hindu to lure the girl. Probe into blackmail angle as well. International wrestling referee says he saw a female athlete push away Brij Bhushan Singh as she got uncomfortable. The Delhi police also recreate the crime scene at WFI boss Delhi office. TMC MP Abhishek Banerjee refuses to appear before the ED on the coal scam, calls summon a ploy to distract him from panchayat polls. S. Shankar slams foreign attack. Raga says criticizing India abroad and seeking intervention is a big cause of concern and can have serious implications for India. Congress dismisses report of Sachin Pilot floating his own party as rumour. Congress General Secretary K.C. Venugopal says no rift in Rajasthan, will fight polls united. And Trump indicted in classified documents case, first ex-US president to face federal criminal charges. Trump alleges greatest witch hunt of all times. Our top story, the latest flashpoint coming in. Maharashtra has unraveled into an Aurangzeb ki aulad now versus Godse ki aulad showdown. After Aurangzeb posters and WhatsApp statuses glorifying the Mughal ruler sent Kolhapur practically to the edge, the ruling BJP and the opposition are now locked in a war of words and politics. But who is fueling the Aurangzeb fire and who could actually benefit from it? Here's the full report.
Political showdown erupts over Mughal ruler Aurangzeb in Maharashtra. 2 days after Hindu right-wing groups went on a rampage in Kolhapur against WhatsApp status hailing Aurangzeb, political parties in the state are accusing each other of inciting riots. The Bharatiya Janata Party has blamed what it calls the Tukde Tukde gang for inciting this vandalism, describing Aurangzeb as a tyrant who committed atrocities against Hindus.
वोट के खातिर कहीं छत्तीसगढ़ में धर्मांतरण, कोल्हापुर में बाबर के औलाद खड़े हो जाते हैं, औरंगजेब के औलाद खड़े हो जाते हैं, भारत के सनातनियों की अस्मिता के साथ खेलते हैं, तो मराठा के लोग तो विरोध करेंगे.
The AIMIM, which is blamed for holding the rally in Ahmednagar where these Aurangzeb posters were flaunted, has accused the BJP in return of orchestrating the riots allegedly in Kolhapur. Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, on the other hand, has called the rioters descendants of Aurangzeb.
सवाल ये उठता है कि अचानक इतने औरंगजेब के औलादे कहां से पैदा हुई, इसके पीछे कौन है, इसका असली मालिक कौन है, ये भी हम ढूंढ के निकालेंगे. कौन जानबूझकर महाराष्ट्र में कानून व्यवस्था खराब हो और महाराष्ट्र का नाम खराब हो, ये करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, ये भी हम ढूंढ के निकालेंगे.
ये कौन सी जबान है एक डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर की, जो चीफ मिनिस्टर था 5 साल के लिए, और जो उसके अतराफ के लोग बोलते हैं कि एक दिन वो प्रधानमंत्री भी बन सकता है, वो कह रहा औरंगजेब की औलाद. फिर गोडसे की औलाद कौन है, आप्टे की औलाद कौन है, मदन लाल पावा की औलाद कौन है.
The Shiv Sena Uddhav faction has accused Shinde government of using Aurangzeb as a political tool.
आपका कहना है कि हिंदुत्व खतरे में क्यों पड़ जाता है अगर कोई औरंगजेब का पोर्ट्रेट अगर सर पे
खतरे में नहीं है, उनको लगता है उनका हिंदुत्व बहुत कमजोर है.
तो फिर ऐसे एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट्स को कितनी रियायत दी जाए आपके हिसाब से सर?
ठोक देना चाहिए, जैसे यूपी में हो रहा है.
Amid this Aurangzeb face-off, Maharashtra opposition leaders are claiming they are receiving death threats. NCP MP Supriya Sule met Mumbai Police Commissioner to file a complaint. She said her father and party chief Sharad Pawar got threats over WhatsApp.
आदरणीय पवार साहब के नाम से आज मेरे व्हाट्सएप पे ये मैसेज आया है. उनको एक धमकी दी गई है, एक वेबसाइट से दी गई है, और वैसी ही धमकी और भी इस रिलेटेड जो अकाउंट्स है इस पे आई है. मेरी विनती रहेगी होम मिनिस्टर से, महाराष्ट्र के भी और देश के भी होम मिनिस्टर से, कि ऐसी जो हरकतें हो रही है ये गंदी घटिया राजनीति है और ये कहाँ भी रुकना चाहिए.
Sanjay Raut's brother, speaking to India Today, also alleged his brother is getting death threats for speaking out on the Aurangzeb issue.
4-4:30 बजे मुझे 3-4 कॉल आ गए
जी,
और उन्होंने उसमें बोला कि संजय राउत साहब उन्होंने फोन उठा नहीं रहे, डर गए. उनको बोलना ज्यादा आवाज करना मत, तुम्हारा सुबह का प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस बंद करो, भोंगा बंद कर दो, नहीं तो तुम्हें और दोनों भाइयों को जल्दी से जल्दी मैं स्मशान भूमि में पहुंचा दूंगा. दोनों को मैं जल्दी से जल्दी गोली से उड़ा दूंगा.
The Maharashtra police has registered 4 FIRs and arrested 36 people for stone pelting, vandalism and rioting in Kolhapur. Aurangzeb has become a political issue in a state that will be crucial for both the BJP and opposition in the upcoming 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Bureau Report, India Today.
So like I said at the beginning, viewers, India's medieval history has come knocking back on India's doorstep, this time in Maharashtra with the face of Aurangzeb. But who gains from Aurangzeb politics is the question that we ask this evening. BJP banking on Hindutva to blunt Uddhav Thackeray's politics. And will Hindutva vote be split in Maharashtra? especially when it comes down to the Lok Sabha elections next year. Let me quickly take you through our guests this evening. Our panelists, Shweta Shalini, BJP spokesperson, Clyde Crasto, NCP spokesperson, Rahul Srivastava, our National Affairs editor, Sahil Joshi, Mumbai Bureau Chief. Cutting across to Sahil in just about a minute, but let's begin right now with Rahul Srivastava first. Rahul, you know, if we just take a look at Maharashtra, in the last 3 months, there have been 3 incidents, all of them communal, where you look at it relating to a mosque, a temple, social media. There seems to be a shift in narrative where Maharashtra is concerned, where communal politics is at play. Why do you think this is happening, and who really stands to benefit from it politically?
Preeti, the issues from the backyards of history are out for the future. If you look at Maharashtra, you said 3 incidents. Sahil will tell you better. I think there have been something close to 10 incidents now in the last 4 months, if you add the 3-4 incidents which have happened, minor though, but they have happened. The crisis here is a battle which can be called Hindutva versus Hindutva battle. Till the last elections, you had 2 major claimants for the Hindu vote. And that was the BJP and the Shiv Sena. The change which has happened post the split in the Shiv Sena and the BJP and the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena parting ways is there are virtually 4 claimants to the Hindu vote now. And that has led to a series of incidents and developments all over the states. One may look at communal flare-ups. Now, let me recount 50 odd religious functions rallies have been held between November to March 2023. These are Hindutva thing, or largely bordering around love jihad and land jihad. That's a new term emerging in Maharashtra, where the allegation is non-Hindus are being given Hindu lands. Then there is a demand for socio-economic boycott of Muslims. You can recall what happened vis-a-vis Triambakeshwar, where some tradition was there that Muslim youths used to go for fragrance there, and there was an uproar over that, and then there was trouble. Then Shraddha Walkar case. In the post-Shraddha Walkar case, you had a lot of trouble in several places in the name of love jihad. Osmanabad and Aurangabad districts were renamed. That led to a problem. Now, if you see, it's very akin to what was happening between 1990 and 1992, when Advaniji started his Rath Yatra. There was that Hindu aggression which had stepped in. The key here is that what we are seeing right now, I will say, the seeds have been sown earlier. The machinery is now being put in place, and I think activation will start happening, or has started happening.
Well, activation
it's not just Lok Sabha. One point, that it's not just Lok Sabha, it is also the October 2023 likely Brihan Mumbai municipal elections.
Likely, Rahul Srivastava, because, you know, every 2 months is a new date when it comes down to the BMC elections there. But I want to bring in Sahil into the conversation, then we'll cut across to our political guests. You know, Sahil, much has changed in the Maharashtra political landscape after the split of the Shiv Sena. But the question that I was asking Rahul, the incident in Kolhapur, from be it Aurangzeb ki aulad versus Godse ki aulad, all of that is peripheral and surface. If you look and dig deep down, you know, in my current memory, 3 incidents back to back, communal violence, communal flare-up, be it a temple, mosque and social media, all 3 of them, the genesis of that were these 3 things. All 3 of them deeply politicized, and now with the latest that we are seeing in Kolhapur as well. There is also heavy politics that is being played at the back, and understandably so, to leverage maximum when it comes down to the Hindutva vote. Who do you see that stands to benefit from it?
Well, you know, sometimes I have started thinking that it's, you know, it's not even a big guesswork now that, you know, the elections are approaching, and such kind of small incidences, you know, turning into a big incidents happens. You know, I would like to recount at least 6 incidences in last 4 months. You know, the first one from Aurangabad, which now the city has been changed to Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. There it all started first on 31st of March. The second incident, what I can see here, is in Akola. Again, because of the social media post, there was a Hindu-Muslim riot situation happened in Akola. Then it was Trambakeshwar, which Rahul was mentioning. Then it was Ahmednagar, and now it is Kolhapur. Now, interestingly, specifically with respect to the Kolhapur incidents. Now, what happens? I would like to elaborate that.
Sahil.
Yeah. Yeah, be it today. Be it today.
Yeah, so that's another
even
exactly
today.
the same. Yes.
Yeah, so I would like to recount the Kolhapur incident just to give you a brief what exactly happened, how I feel sometimes that certain things are being blown out of proportion. First, this particular social media post, it's not even a social media post, it was a WhatsApp status, which people realize that there is a WhatsApp status kept by minor boys in Kolhapur. The police immediately came into an action. They arrested these people. On the same day, the Hindu Ekal Morcha, the association of the Hindu organizations, called for a meeting in Kolhapur. The political parties, including the BJP, the Shiv Sena Shinde Gut, even the Shiv Sena UBT, because finally when it comes to Hindutva, all the parties have to be there. So all these parties attended the meeting. The call for Kolhapur Bandh was given. Immediately the police reacted. Police reached to them and said, don't call for a Kolhapur Bandh. We have already taken action against these minor boys and we are looking into the incidents. But despite that, the police didn't sense anything which is going to happen. That is what is very surprising. The police did not put the Article 144, the Section 144 did not implement Section 144 in Kolhapur. The next day at 11 o'clock, again the mob assembles, the same Hindu Ekal Morcha assembled. The BJP leader, the local Shiv Sena leaders were part of that particular march. The police reached there. They charged them, they lathi charged, the people spread into the various gullies around that area, and then the stone pelting and everything started. The point is that how come police did not think about this, that already there was a call for Kolhapur Bandh. They had requested these people, do not go for a Kolhapur Bandh. We have already arrested those people, but still they enforced that there has to be a Kolhapur Bandh, and the next day that is what exactly happens. Now in last 4 months, 6 incidences, the incidences are rising. Even today, the way Sharad Pawar was threatened, Sanjay Raut was threatened in a similar way. Now it can be clearly seen that what happens with this, it's not a big riot like a situation, but small riots in various areas. Now let's look at the population in these areas.
Right.
The Aurangabad, that is Sambhajinagar and Akola, 25% Muslim population. So two groups can create a conflict. But areas like Kolhapur or Ahmednagar, or for that matter Nasik, 6 to 7% Muslim population, the situation will not flare up beyond a point, and that is where these incidences are happening at this point of time. So there has to be some kind of
I'm going to come right back. Sahil, I'm going to come right back. Let's bring in our political panelists. Appreciate the patience. Shweta Shalini, communal tensions rife in your run state over figures that come in from the 17th and the 18th century. I just want to ask you one direct question, ma'am. When your deputy CM says Aurangzeb ki aulad, what does he mean? Who is Aurangzeb ki aulad?
So, counter question to you, Preeti ji. Who was Aurangzeb? Aurangzeb was a tyrant. Second question to you. On that one particular day,
Madam, that's not a question. That's a statement. Yes, Aurangzeb was a tyrant, not a question.
Yes, he was a criminal. He was a tyrant.
What's the question?
Now, that day, those posters, those boys were flaring up the people by showing the posters of Aurangzeb. What was the occasion? Or exactly the occasion that on that day was Shiv Rajya Abhishek Day. So there was no question of somebody waving out Aurangzeb's posters on a day that Maharashtra is celebrating Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Now that is exactly where somebody has to go back. I just heard on your channel OACG talking about Godse's Aulad. You think there is anybody who's waving these posters anywhere that you can see? Again, now I heard both your editors and both of them were well researched. I would also want to point out a couple of things that Rahul ji forgot. Similar incidents have happened in Noida where 400 people were converted, children were converted using a gaming app.
There's no figure, 1 second.
Similar,
I'll fact check you on this. Madam,
incident happened in Damoh.
Madam, this is not Madam, hear my please. Okay, Madam, hear me out. You cannot give a false figure. There are no 400 children that have been converted. Please do not use this platform to spread fake news. Do not use this platform, madam, to spread fake news. You can't outshout the person.
21 of them.
Madam, are you listening to me? Can I just put her fader down? Put her fader down. Okay. Shweta Shalini, nobody can hear you right now, but please hear this. Do not throw figures which are factually incorrect. Do not use this platform to spread fake news. There is nowhere near that 400 children were converted. This is what causes rumors. I'm going to come back to you, Shweta Shalini, make your point, then I'll cut across to Clyde Crasto. Go ahead, Ms. Shalini, make your point now.
I was saying that Sahil said a lot of things. One particular thing that he forgot in his entire research were 21 people have been arrested because of stone pelting. See, it was yes, the Hindu organizations came together, proper permissions were taken, but the mob started and the upheaval started only when stones were pelted. Now, who pelted these stones? 21 people have been arrested. FIR has been registered. Now, go back and check who and which party do these people belong to. Okay. And ultimately, why did some leaders have to have press conferences on issues like this? So when you point a finger at somebody, there are four fingers which is pointing towards yourself, and that's when Clyde has a lot to answer.
Madam,
why
India Today editors, madam, 1 second, please learn to listen. Yeah, ma'am, please. Okay, it's a debate. Let's not outshout anyone, and please don't embarrass me by putting your fader down or putting your voice down. I don't want to do it. So my only humble submission, madam, is a press statement was given, and I just want to ask you that same question again. The Deputy CM says, Aurangzeb ki aulad. Who is Aurangzeb ki aulad? Are you talking about just those 3 young boys who are minors? Sahil also wants to make a point. Sahil, come in and then we'll cut across to Shweta Shalini.
Anybody who is glorifying a tyrant,
I just want to factually correct what she was saying.
Yes, go ahead, Sahil.
Okay, I just want to make a factual correction here is that no permission was taken for this particular march on the next day. The SP from Kolhapur has made it very clear that as per the Bombay Police Act, the gathering was not allowed. They had requested those people that do not call for a Kolhapur Bandh, but despite that, this march started, and that is the reason why the police had to make a small lathi charge where this gathering had happened. So there was no permission taken, there was no permission given. That is the factual correction.
Okay, so 2 fact checks. What happened to that? 2 fact checks, Ms. Shweta Shalini. A, in the number of kids that you said were converted, not true, and what Sahil said. But please answer, then may I please cut across to Mr. Clyde Crasto. Go ahead, Ms. Shalini.
Exactly what I said. I think Sahil ji forgot to mention again that stones were pelted on these people, on these organizations, and 21 people are under arrest. Where did these stones come from? These came from shops which were closed down. So go back and check who were the people who actually shut down shops that day, because Hindu organizations were up on the street.
Madam, you know the insinuations, but okay, let just that be. Clyde Crasto, I want to, yes, sir, but I want to ask you a question. The sheer fact that we've seen violence in Kolhapur, we saw violence in Bihar today, at the back of posters displayed of Aurangzeb, the violence might be of right-wing outfits or whatever you might say. But the fact is, should a person like Aurangzeb be glorified when it is a known fact, at least on the streets that we are seeing, that it can incite violence? Why glorify? So you're on mute.
This again.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
There's absolutely no need for glorification. I want to make it very clear that, Priti, I'm on a debate talking to you, so I request that nobody interjects because I was listening very patiently. My point is very simple, like Rahul Srivastava said and Sahil said, that since March 31st, nearly 6 incidents have happened in Maharashtra which have led to violence. So what was the intelligence department doing? What was the home department doing? Did they not know that this was going to happen? And if 6 incidents are going to happen one after the other, so either they were not aware and that they're not doing their job, or they're looking the other way around. That's the whole point here. So somebody is letting this happen. Whether it's Aurangzeb, whether it's Godse, whatever. My point here is, in that procession, if Aurangzeb's posters were held, immediately the police should have taken it down. In Kolhapur, I mean, what was the intelligence doing when, hundreds of people were gathering there? They didn't have no input. That's the whole point. My point here is, I again say, nobody of this kind of people, Aurangzeb or whatever, should be glorified. That's wrong. Absolutely. But what is the Home Department doing? Is it letting it happen? Even today. Now, that threats are coming to Mr. Sharad Pawar. Okay? It's coming from somebody who is officially writing on his handle that he's a BJP worker. Nilesh Rane goes on to talk and, he's equating Mr. Sharad Pawar to Aurangzeb, trying to, create more disturbance in the state. We want peace in Maharashtra, but what is the Home Department doing? That's the question. And you can ask questions, I'm saying nobody's above the law. If anybody, and I repeat, anybody is trying to create disturbance in the country, should be put behind bars.
All right.
Jail them.
So
the
even
Home
though
Department in the center is yours.
Even though they might be minors, the sheer fact that Aurangzeb posters were displayed because possibly the end result was to could have been strife, communal violence, so they should have been taken off, is what Clyde Crasto is saying. But I want to bring in Rahul Srivastav back into this conversation. Ms. Shalini, I know you want to come and just give me 2 minutes. I just want to bring in our editors into the conversation. Rahul Srivastav, the fact is, let's look at what went down in Karnataka. Tipu didn't quite work for the Bharatiya Janata Party where Karnataka was concerned. Pulling back medieval figures is not quite working, at least in the recent elections. Why is Maharashtra different? Especially if you go into Lok Sabha elections. The last Lok Sabha, 2019, Maharashtra got the NDA a mammoth 41 seats, right after UP, if I'm not wrong, sir. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Preeti, Tipu didn't work in Karnataka because Karnataka is different. One, what Shalini ji said, I would like to say, is that if some posters are waved of Aurangzeb, some posts have Tipu Sultan or some audio messages, I would rather term them as aberrations. These are miscreants who can be trying to create or foment trouble. The job of a government is to curb that trouble. But it becomes a problem when the state chief, deputy chief minister and the home minister brands the entire community as Aurangzeb ki aulad and makes it a design. I never said that the BJP is fomenting communal trouble. I said there are 4 claimants to the Hindutva vote. And that is perhaps what the bigger crisis at this moment is. Preeti, it's an irony that the gentleman in question, Aurangzeb, was cremated, was buried in a tomb in Khuldabad in Aurangabad, which is there in Maharashtra. And it is a dargah of Sheikh Zainuddin, where he is cremated. It's a nondescript, unmarked grave. Now, that's a fact. I think Aurangzeb can be made in vogue. I think there could well be, because you have an unrest brewing in Uttar Pradesh and Banaras vis-a-vis Aurangzeb, and that's
yes.
And also in the Krishna Janmabhoomi. So you can there could well be a connect. I think, Preeti, also it is primarily because that such is the politics today, that the turf has been laid by the BJP very strongly. And if you see Maharashtra, if Sahil is saying that there are 6 riots till now and there has been communal trouble in Maharashtra, but has there been a very strong criticism of it from all the political parties? Because if you look at the NCP also, even the NCP can be called a fallback option for the Marathi Hindus who are unhappy with the Shiv Sena or the BJP. And in that scenario, with no strong criticism, there can be a problem. If the Congress steps out today, very strong comment against this Hindutva aggression, then there is neighboring Madhya Pradesh where the Congress is playing the same game.
Right.
And I think in that kind of an atmosphere, there is a sense of encouragement which these elements are getting. And then you have Mr. Fadnavis's statement.
Shweta Shalini, you want to come in? Just the question I want to ask you, ma'am, and please hear the question out. Minor boys, Muslim boys, spot posters of Aurangzeb. Does it warrant the deputy chief minister to come out and publicly speak with the press and call them out as Aurangzeb ki aulad, and not just them, give out a blanche card, Aurangzeb ki aulad agar hain? Does it really warrant that? Is it befitting the office of the deputy CM of Maharashtra? Madam, please ask yourself that question and answer.
Yes, thank you. Hopefully you'll allow me to answer.
Of course.
First fact check is with Rahul ji. Will you please point out the statement of where the entire Muslim community, as per the DCM, was termed as Aurangzeb ka aulad? He has been continuously saying, and we have been continuously saying, that only people who glorify Aurangzeb are Aurangzeb ki aulad. And that's why he's been continuously saying, ye achanak se kahan se paida ho gaye. Second, and the fact check that I need to do with you is go back and check. The 2 people who were holding up the posters are actually workers of AIMIM. The 2 minors who have been arrested are the people who had the Aurangzeb WhatsApp DP which said "Baap to Baap hota hai" on Shiv Rajya Abhishek Day, where the entire Devat of Maharashtra is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj.
Okay, 2 workers of AIMIM, 2 minor boys with a WhatsApp.
Please allow me to finish.
Madam, because you're not answering the question which I asked you.
Because I'm exactly answering the question that you asked.
Which is what, ma'am? Does it befit the office of the deputy chief minister to use the word Aurangzeb ki aulad?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
It is completely befitting because he was a tyrant. He killed numerous crores and crores of Hindus. He destroyed our temples. He is a criminal. We cannot allow anybody to glorify Aurangzeb, and that we ate, period.
All right. Okay. Clyde Crasto, you want to make a point? I want to ask you, has the NCP fallen bang in the center of the trap or a political trap that has been laid by the BJP when it comes down to communal politics? You did the entire jail bharo agitation after the BJP leader Nilesh Rane said what he did about your leader, Mr. Sharad Pawar.
Well, absolutely no. There's no trap. We are not going to fall for what BJP is trying to do in the last 6 months that they've come into the government in Maharashtra. We are not going to fall in anybody's trap. The point here is, my question again is that there are 6 incidents have happened. First one, second one. Why is the State Department, Home Department allowing these incidents to happen? Where is the intelligence? Where is the Home Minister? I mean, he's busy making statements, whatever he may be doing, but he has to keep an eye on why these things are happening. So, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 6 incidents. So, I mean, there is something wrong somewhere. Either they are not capable and incompetent, or they are looking the other way and letting these things happen. That's the whole question. See, I mean, we can keep talking again and again, but the job of the Home Department has failed. They've not managed to curb this thing, whoever it may be, whether it's AIFIM or anybody. Why are they all not put behind bars and set an example? Hundreds of people are gathering overnight, and there is news that people have come from outside of Kolhapur to create this tension. So what was the Home Department doing when people from outside of Kolhapur were actually traveling into Kolhapur to create this tension? A lot of questions are there. There are no answers. I mean, every time you ask questions, they're talking about everything else except for what the questions are being asked. And we have all the right to answer. What is the role of an opposition in a democracy? Is to ask the question, show the mirror, the government.
All right. Wrong. Okay, Shweta Shalini, you want to come in? Please come in for a rebuttal, and then Sahil, we'll look at the larger picture after that, Rahul and Sahil. Go ahead, Ms. Shalini.
That's exactly what we have been saying, Clyde, that if you look at the patterns are so similar. All the 6 incidents, the same pattern has been followed, and that's the reason why you've been asking again and again.
Please, let's not talk over each other. No. Okay, can I just get Clyde Crasto, fader off? Can I just get Ms. Shalini? Go ahead, Ms. Shalini, make your point.
And that's exactly what we have been saying. There are people who are making this happen. And these are the people who are holding press conferences, coming online and supporting the larger cause of Aurangzeb, which the people of Maharashtra do not fall for. And that's the reason why the people of Maharashtra, the people of the Hindu community are retaliating. It is the people of the Hindu community which is coming forward.
No. These are, okay. Let's not get into the people of the Hindu community retaliating. These are statements which are insidious. You and I both understand what the gravity of these statements are, ma'am. Let's let these statements be. At least on this platform. Avoid it. Madam, please avoid these statements on this platform. Use them elsewhere. I want to cut across to, may I just get Sahil Joshi and Rahul Srivastava back into this conversation. Sahil, that's the sad part, because, even as political journalists, one might look at it, we are busy talking about, reading up about Bajrang Dal, Bajrang Bali, Aurangzeb, Tipu Sultan, but going ahead where Maharashtra is concerned, you're going into a high-octane DMC battle, which we still don't know the dates. As Rahul Srivastava said, hopefully in October. We don't know when that's happening. But to the larger picture of the Lok Sabha elections next year, how do you see things play out?
Well, it's not only the BMC elections. Why this has become very important is basically because it's going to be a semi-assembly election. More than 10 municipal corporations of Maharashtra are going to go for elections, hopefully in October. We still don't know the date yet. But yes, by October, it's likely that more than 10 municipal corporations, which includes Mumbai, Pune, Nasik, Aurangabad, Sambhajinagar and Nagpur, are going to go for the election. So it's going to be really big, and that is the reason why these communal tensions have to be looked at from the political angle as well. That is point number 1. The point number 2 is that, is it going to help? You have to understand that these elections are going to be fought between 2 political spaces. One space which calls themselves pure Hindutwavadi space, that is Shiv Sena and the BJP. Recently, Shiv Sena has made it very clear, the BJP leaders have made it also very clear that all the local body elections will also be fought together, that is Shiv Sena and BJP in alliance. The MVA is still trying to work out if there is going to be a possible alliance even for the local body elections or not. So these particular the communal tensions are going to matter during these municipal corporation elections, and in Maharashtra specifically, such kind of issues sometimes have definitely helped, but not across Maharashtra. So that is the reason why sporadic incidences across the Maharashtra are happening. I simply do not agree with what Shweta Shalini said, that the whole Hindu people are reverting the way Aurangzeb is being glorified. Whoever is trying to glorify Aurangzeb is being arrested by the police, and right now the tension, like even in Kolhapur, exactly the next day the situation was completely under control and there were no more incidences. But will this continue is going to be the real question. Now that is the tough part. If this continues, now the rainy season will start, so I don't think that such kind of incidents might happen. But before October, if these kind of communal tension continues, then that is going to be the tough part, not only for the state of Maharashtra, but also for the government of Maharashtra and the opposition parties which are coming together. Now in a state like Maharashtra, there are 4 parties which claims that they are carrying the Hindutva banner with us. That is the BJP, the Shiv Sena, which is with Shinde at this point of time, Shiv Sena, UBT, and also MNS.
Yes.
So it's going to be really interesting that when such issues are being raked up, how these parties are going to behave at that particular time, and that is what is going to turn the politics.
Rahul, if you can also come in very quickly, and much has changed. Like I said earlier, where the political landscape of Maharashtra is concerned after the split of the Shiv Sena, the last election that was fought in Maharashtra, be it the state election or even the general elections in 2019, it was very high on Hindutva. How do you see things play out this time around? Because 41, the second largest share in terms of the seats that the NDA had after UP was here, Maharashtra.
Preeti, I think the stakes have changed, and stakes have changed tremendously in Maharashtra. And I think in the current scenario, one will only keep the fingers crossed, because I think the state is such that everybody loves a good communal stir-up. Primarily because there are so many claimants, as I've been saying since the beginning, that if you have too many claimants, the counter will also be there. You see, if there are 4 claimants for the Hindutva vote, there will be claimants for the minority vote who will also try to do a reverse polarization or a prior polarization. Now, there are multiple efforts to polarize going on. So it could be that some troublemakers are fomenting trouble, and there are 4 parties today, instead of 1 or 2 parties which stand and protest on the streets crying for the saving Hinduism. You have 4 today. In that scenario, with so many claimants and so many players and polarization on all sides, I think, yes, Maharashtra can be in for a bit of trouble. I think primarily because this is a state which abuts Madhya Pradesh. So I think stirring the pot will become stay in vogue.
Yes, it borders Madhya Pradesh there. Appreciate all you gentlemen and Shweta Shalini for joining us. Thank you. We're going to keep a keen eye on all developments as they take place in the state of Maharashtra. It'd be interesting. Will things heat up in politics? Definitely. But let's hope at least on ground there is no communal tension, because it's just not worth it. With that, I want to quickly shift focus to our other big developing story. We've kept the eye on the wrestlers' protest, the latest chapter there. Wrestlers' protest versus the BJP MP Brij Bhushan Sharan. What has been a very big development is the man on your television screen on the right-hand side is Jagbir Singh. He used to be the coach of the international men's wrestling team. He's now an international wrestling referee. He's come out and corroborated in detail the wrestler's allegation. In his testimony to the Delhi police, he said that he saw with his eyes, he's an eyewitness, he saw with his eyes Brij Bhushan Sharan sexually assault our female wrestlers. Jagbir Singh narrated the photo shoot incident, which is corroborated by one of the complainants with the date as well. She's corroborated in her complaint to the Delhi police. He's a witness in that, on the basis of which now there is an FIR that has been filed. He's also added many more instances which are very, very worrying. I spoke to him a short while ago. Listen in.
अभी पुलिस जांच कर रही है। 15 तारीख तक पुलिस चार्जशीट फाइल करेगी। 15 तारीख के बाद अगर बोलने की ज़रूरत होगी तो बोला जाएगा जी। अभी मुझे नहीं लगता है कि इस मामले में मुझे कुछ बोलना चाहिए।
All right, joining me right now is Jagbir Singh. He is one of the key eyewitnesses. There are over 100 eyewitnesses that have been put forth by the wrestlers. He is one of them. He's joining us now. He is a referee now, an international referee where wrestling is concerned. Earlier on, he has also been the coach of the India men's team. I spoke to him a short while ago. जगबीर जी, बहुत शुक्रिया सर, आप हमसे जुड़े. एक की आई विटनेस कहते हैं आप, वो हैं इस पूरे केस में. जगबीर जी, सबसे पहले आप यही बताइएगा, क्या आपने कभी बृजभूषण शरण को फिजिकली सेक्सुअली अब्यूज करते हुए देखा है महिलाओं को? कोई वाकया है जो आपको बिल्कुल याद है?
लखनऊ में 25 मार्च 2022 की एक घटना है. एशिया चैंपियनशिप की ट्रायल हुई थी, सीनियर एशिया चैंपियनशिप की ट्रायल थी 25 मार्च 2022 को. ट्रायल के बाद एक फोटो सेशन होता है, जिस फोटो सेशन में प्रेसिडेंट था और कोचेज साहिबान थे, जो स्पोर्टिंग स्टाफ है वो भी था और टेक्निकल ऑफिशियल भी थे. तो फोटो सेशन जब शुरू हुआ तो एक महिला पहलवान प्रेसिडेंट ब्रजभूषण की बराबर में खड़ी थी और एक जो चीफ कोच था वो भी था. लेकिन थोड़ी ही देर में जब फोटो की तैयारी चल रही थी तो वो लड़की एकदम से छटपटाई. सबका ध्यान उधर गया, तो जिसमें मैंने भी देखा कि वो लड़की वहां से हट करके दूसरी जगह जाने के लिए तैयार हुई. तो वो लड़की अपनी भाषा में कुछ सुनाई तो नहीं दे रहा था कुछ, लेकिन होठ चल रहे थे, वो कुछ बड़बड़ा रही थी. और हमने जब पीछे मुड़ के देखा तो ब्रजभूषण के हाथ ऐसी जगह लगे थे कि जहां पर लड़कियों को नहीं छूना चाहिए.
जगबीर जी, उनके हाथ बृजभूषण शरण के ऐसी जगह लगे थे जो असहज था, आप ये कह रहे हैं. क्या दिनांक था? फिर से जरा डेट बताइएगा.
25 मार्च 2022 लखनऊ की घटना है
ये 25 मार्च 2022 वही दिन है जो महिला रेसलर कंप्लेनेंट है, उन्होंने अपनी कंप्लेन में दर्ज की है, जिसके बिना पर एफआईआर है. उसी पे आप विटनेस हैं. क्या ये वही इंसिडेंट है, उसी कंप्लेनेंट से रिलेटेड, उनमें से वही महिला रेसलर ने कंप्लेन की है जिसके बारे में आप बात कर रहे हैं?
हाँ, उनमें से एक है.
उनमें से एक है. जगबीर जी, आपने अभी जो 25 मार्च वाला वाकया है जो 2022 का, जो अभी जिसके बयानों पे, जो महिला बयानों पे एफआईआर करी गई हैं, वो आपने बताया है कि आपकी आंख देखी है कि बृजभूषण शरण ने अपना हाथ महिला रेसलर पे ऐसे रख रखा था कि बहुत ही भद्दा था और असहज था. ये आपने हमें अभी बताया है. जगबीर जी, आप मुझे ये बताइए, क्या आपके संज्ञान में कोई और ऐसा वाकया कभी हुआ है जो आप बिल्कुल क्लियरली हमें बता सकते हैं?
देखिए, ये तो 2022 की घटना है. उससे पहले 2013 की एक घटना है. थाईलैंड की, थाईलैंड पुकेट में एक जूनियर एशिया चैंपियनशिप हुई थी 2013 में. वहां की घटना है. वहां पर भारतीय टीम ने एक उम्दा प्रदर्शन किया था और वहां पर प्रेसिडेंट भी मौजूद था. तो प्रेसिडेंट ने बच्चों को कहा कि आपके लिए आज इंडियन फूड की व्यवस्था करेंगे, क्योंकि थाईलैंड में सी फूड ज़्यादा मिलता है, ऑयली फूड ज़्यादा मिलता है. तो बच्चों ने वो कुछ ठीक नहीं लगा था, क्योंकि रेसलर्स जो हैं वो ज़्यादा शाकाहारी होते हैं और दूध घी पे ज़्यादा विश्वास रखते हैं. तो उनके लिए रात को डिनर की व्यवस्था की गई इंडियन फूड्स की. तो जहाँ पर लड़कियों का होटल था, जहाँ पर खिलाड़ी रुके हुए थे, उस होटल में उस खाने की व्यवस्था की गई. और अध्यक्ष जी ब्रजभूषण जी और उनके जो साथी थे वहां के, थाईलैंड के ही थे, वो सारे नशे में चूर थे और उन्होंने बच्चियों को इस तरह से छुआ जाए जो हमारे समाज में बच्चियों को उस तरह से नहीं छुआ जाता। किसी बच्ची को पकड़ के कि आपने बहुत अच्छी कुश्ती लड़ी, आप बहुत अच्छी हैं, आपका शरीर बहुत अच्छा है, आपको मैं ये मदद करूंगा, आप बड़े पहलवान बनोगे, आपको बताइए किस चीज़ की जरूरत है। तो ऐसे बयानबाजी हुई और हम भी उस जगह पर मौजूद थे, हम रेफरी के तौर पर गए हुए थे। वो हमने बहुत बुरा लगा था, वो एक बहुत बुरा सपना था।
ये 2013 की घटना आप बता रहे हैं, ये घटना जो 7 महिलाओं ने बयान किया है उनमें से नहीं है, पर एक दूसरी घटना है जो आप बता रहे हैं। पर जगबीर जी मुझे ये चीज़ बताइए, जो फुकेत थाईलैंड की घटना आप बता रहे हैं, इसमें बहुत सारी महिलाएं अंडर एज थी क्या, और क्या ये व्यवहार एक से ज़्यादा महिला के साथ हुआ, वहाँ पे महिला रेसलर के साथ हुआ? क्या और लोग भी थे आपके अलावा जिन्होंने ये देखा?
हाँ, पूरी टीम थी। हाँ, महिलाएं थी, पुरुष भी थे।
तो फिर से पूछूंगी, पूरी टीम थी और लोग भी थे, और जो असॉल्ट हुआ था वो एक रेसलर महिला से ज्यादा रेसलर महिलाओं पे हुआ था और बहुत लोगों ने ये देखा था, आप कह रहे हैं?
हाँ भाई, जैसे एक उसमें 10 महिला खिलाड़ी होती हैं, 10 में से कम 3, 4, 5 को तो इन्होंने पकड़ के, आप बहुत अच्छी कुश्ती लड़ी, आप बहुत अच्छी हैं, आपको किस चीज़ की ज़रूरत है, आप मुझे बताइए, मैं आपकी मदद करूंगा। तो इस तरह का प्रलोभन दिया गया वहां पर।
जगबीर जी, क्या इन किसी भी रेसलर्स ने कभी भी आपके पास आकर, जो अभी वाकया है उसके पहले, बोला कि ब्रिजभूषण शरण ने मेरे साथ ये किया? कोई कंप्लेन आई?
नहीं, मेरे सामने कंप्लेंट, मैं कभी महिला टीम का कोच नहीं रहा, मैं कभी किसी महिला कोच का, मैं किसी महिला का कोच नहीं रहा कभी। मैं लड़कों का अखाड़ा चलाता हूं, यहाँ पर मेरा अपना क्लब है और मैं 2007 से UWW का रेफरी हूं।
जगबीर जी, इस सब में जो आपने बयान दिया है एज एन आई विटनेस भी आपने पुलिस के सामने ये सब बताया है। अब एक चीज़ बताइए, क्योंकि जो ये ब्रॉडकास्ट देख रहे हैं ना, बहुत सारे पूछेंगे कि जगबीर जी आप पहले क्यों नहीं आए, पहले आपने क्यों नहीं बोला, अब क्यों बोल रहे हैं?
मैडम जी, हम ऐसे देश में रहते हैं कि जहां पर महिला को खिलाफ भी नहीं बोल सकते, सपोर्ट में तो आप बोल ही रहे हैं, खिलाफ में बोल नहीं सकते। जब तक इस देश में ये कानून है, जब तक महिला खुद शिकायत ना करे, महिला कोई मदद ना मांगे, अगर आप उसकी मदद करना चाहोगे तो आपके खिलाफ ही शिकायत हो जाएगी।
तो आप कह रहे हैं तब तक कोई शिकायत नहीं थी। एक चीज बताइए जगबीर जी, जो इसमें माइनर है, जो नाबालिग लड़की है, रेसलर है, उसका मुद्दा सामने आया है, कह रहे हैं कि चेंज कर दिया है स्टेटमेंट, उसमें आपको कोई ज्ञान है, कोई चेंज किया है स्टेटमेंट?
देखिए मैडम, उसके बारे में मैं ज्यादा नहीं जानता, मैं उसको नहीं जानता कि वो कहाँ से है, किस परिवार से है, वो माइनर है नहीं है, उसके बारे में मैं नहीं जानता। लेकिन मैं एक कमेंट्स करना जरूर चाहूंगा कि भारतीय कुश्ती संघ का क्या स्वार्थ था कि उस लड़की को माइनर बना के विदेश में भेजा गया, और जब उसने कोई प्रोटेस्ट किया तो आज वो माइनर नहीं है। तो क्या फेडरेशन को पहले से पता था कि माइनर नहीं है? जो फेडरेशन के पास डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं, जिस प्रतियोगिताओं में उस बच्ची को पार्टिसिपेट करवाया है, उस हिसाब से तो वो माइनर है। तो फेडरेशन आज कैसे कह सकती है कि वो माइनर नहीं है? तब फेडरेशन ने जांच क्यों नहीं की? किस उद्देश्य के कारण उस बच्ची को गलत एज ग्रुप में खिलाया गया, माइनर एज ग्रुप में क्यों खिलाया गया? तो किस बच्चे का हक मारा गया? ये भी तो एक जांच का विषय है ना। उसमें जांच करने वाला इसका सेक्रेटरी था। उस सेक्रेटरी के साइन है उसके ऊपर कि ये माइनर है, ये इस एज ग्रुप में पार्टिसिपेट कर सकती है, तब इसने जांच क्यों नहीं करवाई?
तो जगबीर जी, आप जो कह रहे हैं, जो बार बार एक नैरेटिव चला हुआ आ रहा है, एक भूमिका बांधी जा रही है कि जो लड़की है वो नाबालिग नहीं है, बालिग है, और ये बृजभूषण शरण के कह रहे हैं कि उसके कैंप से ज्यादा आ रही है। आप मुझे ये बताइए, आप कह रहे हैं ये नेशनल टीवी पे कि बृजभूषण शरण का सेक्रेटरी, जो WFI का सेक्रेटरी है, उसका साइन है इसके ऊपर कि ये लड़की नाबालिग है, और उस सर्टिफिकेट में इस लड़की ने इंटरनेशनल कंपटीशन खेला है। सही बात?
इसके सेक्रेटरी विनोद तोमर का एज प्रूफ पे साइन है, और ये विदेश गई है ये लड़की। एज वेरिफिकेशन की एक कमेटी बनाई हुई थी, जो इसका सेक्रेटरी जिसको चाहे उसको बाहर निकाल दे, जिसको चाहे वो खिला ले। इसके सेक्रेटरी के साइन होते थे एज ग्रुप वेरिफिकेशन पे। इसका सेक्रेटरी को इतनी पावर थी कि भारत देश का किसी का डेट ऑफ बर्थ को वो नहीं मानता था, किसी के पासपोर्ट को वो नहीं मानता था, उसके साइन होने हो वो जरूरी थे।
जगबीर जी, एक आखिरी सवाल पूछूंगी आपसे। बृजभूषण, आपने खुद कोच रहे हैं, इंटरनेशनल रेफरी हैं, जो मेंस की रेसलिंग टीम थी इंटरनेशनल, उसके आप कोच रहे हैं। बृजभूषण शरण की क्या छवि थी जो रेसलर्स के बीच में? इन्फ्लुएंशियल थे, काफी कहते हैं उनका दबदबा था, नहीं था, लोग डरते थे, क्या उनकी इन्फ्लुएंस है?
अरे देश में सबसे बड़ा कुख्यात अपराधी कौन है? दाऊद इब्राहिम। इस देश का सबसे बड़ा कुख्यात अपराधी दाऊद इब्राहिम है, उससे इसके संबंध रहे हैं। इसके ऊपर टाडा एक्ट लग गया है, 302 की धाराएं लगी, और क्या लगना बाकी है?
जगबीर जी, बहुत शुक्रिया कि हम आपसे जुड़े, आप एक आई विटनेस हैं। बने रहेंगे कि नहीं ये तो वक्त बताएगा, पर आपने जो डिटेल में हमें बताया है, आपने साफ बताया है कि एक लड़की, जो एक महिला रेसलर जिसने कंप्लेन किया है फोटोशूट के बारे में, उसने डेट दी है, आपने डेट कंफर्म की है, आपने बोला है कि मैंने देखा था कि बृजभूषण का हाथ एक ऐसी जगह पे था उस महिला रेसलर की बॉडी पार्ट पर कि वो भद्दा था, हम देख नहीं पाई, आपने कहा है। आपने उसके अलावा 2013 का वाकया बताया है, जब फुकेत थाईलैंड में आप कह रहे थे कि एक नहीं 4-5 महिला रेसलर्स के साथ बहुत अभद्र व्यवहार किया गया। बहुत शुक्रिया जगबीर जी कि आप हमसे जुड़े, विटनेस होने में हिम्मत लगती है। बहुत शुक्रिया सर। Alright, with that report, it's a wrap on News Today. Do have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you Monday.
The software engineer meets the gifted content writer, meets the cool UI UX designer, meets the talented photographer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University. So where are you?
Elon Musk's Tesla has agreed to the Indian government's demand to set up a vendor base in India. Currently, more than half of Tesla's global production takes place in China. My colleague Chetan Bhutani joining us on the story. Chetan, does it mean Tesla is a step closer to shifting part of its business out of China and into India? And by when could we see this happen?
Well, that's right. Elon Musk's Tesla could soon make in India for the world, as top sources in the government have confirmed to Business Today TV that the company has in principle agreed to start manufacturing in India. In fact, no formal proposal has been signed as of now, but yes, by the way of mutual understanding, the company has given a green light to the government's, in fact, mutual persuasion that happened last month. Sources have also confirmed to Business Today TV that Tesla will set up a vendor place in India. But however, the government is of the opinion that the company should probably start manufacturing and, in fact, assembling electric cars in India, and then probably move on to set up a vendor base. In fact, last month, the officials of Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, Department of Heavy Industries, the Prime Minister's office. They all met Tesla officials just to take a rain check at how India is serious about this electric vehicle revolution in India, and how the country in fact wants to go out. So in fact, my sources have also told me that the government in fact could sweeten the production linked incentive scheme 2.0 that would be coming up to ensure Tesla also gets some benefits. In fact, it has now in fact said that they are not anymore seeking demand for an import duty cut. But in fact, you should remember that owing to different geopolitical situations in China, the company has more than half of its production.
Chetan, will Tesla get concessions from the Indian government for setting up a base here?
Abba, the government is of the opinion that if Tesla does something and starts manufacturing, not out of the way, not a green carpet would be rolled out for Tesla, but yes, the government is looking at a production-linked incentive scheme specifically for electric vehicles and its components, because the FAME scheme is almost coming to an end, and various factors have contributed towards its ending. But yes, a PLI 2.0 is in the works, which probably could benefit Tesla.
Think about these high airfares across the domestic sector, and what can be done to reduce them?
Karishma, I think every once in a while, when there is suddenly a demand-supply sort of gap, there is this, sometimes it happens that there are these fares that peak. And frankly, I've said the same boring thing for now almost 15, 17